Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, good. Welcome. How's everybody doing?
Great.
good.
Good. All right. Well, it looks like most people are here. I'm recording this, in case somebody misses it for some reason. But I appreciate y'all joining me. Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Here we go. All right. Can y'all see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Thank you for that. All right, so this is Counseling 608 Ethics. We're just going to talk about your course expectations and all the good stuff that's in that syllabus. So first and foremost, we've got our co-teacher and doctoral student, Cameron Douglas. This is the best picture I could find of you, Cameron, on doing a Google search. So I think this might be from undergrad. But I want to give you a chance to just kind of introduce yourself, tell them about yourself.
That photo just made my knees squeak. Wow. Google really did me dirty on that one. What all do you think they should know? God, that photo is trippy.
Yeah, just kind of tell them your place in the program, just kind of, how you went through the masters, just what you're interested in and why you wanted to co-teach ethics.
Cool. What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name is Cameron Douglas. Second year in the doc program. I'm kind of in a weird spot because I'm in the middle of dissertation data collection. So, will I graduate early? Who knows? Will I graduate with y'all? Who knows? Um, I did do my master's degree here. So about a couple of years ago, I was in y'all's position back when ethics was during the summer. So we got a lot of cool revisions going on, which is I'm kind of happy about the revisions that the staff, not the staff, the faculty has made. So um, very much interested in anything child and adolescent counseling related, especially in K-12 schools. Um, that's pretty much how a lot of my professional work has been in. My research work is all school intervention related. Right now, I'm kind of doing a substance use group. I'm about to start a VR project, and that's it for right now.
How might
Um,
they interact with you? Will you be over there when they go to COPE?
that is a good question. A lot of changes have been made, so I don't want to jump the gun and make any promises. I may be there, may not be there, but I'm always happy to answer questions. Hopefully I can co-teach a group next year for y'all too, so they can ask me questions now, ask me questions next semester, kind of deal.
That'll be good. Are you still supervising the mental health counselors on campus program?
Yes. One cool thing about COPE is that we have partnerships with Oxford School District and Lafayette County School District, and we kind of got some virtual partnerships with like DeSoto and South Panola. But it's called Mental Health Counselors on Campus, and we pretty much grab a couple of y'all, and we send y'all out into the schools. One thing that I like to do is I send out like an interest sheet where it's like, what are your preferred grades? What are your second choice of grades? And then I try to put y'all in the right buildings. But it's super cool. All the school counselors are very nice. A lot of the principals are pretty involved. So you really get that school-based counseling experience. You really much get to see what it's like before you actually decide to do it post-graduation. So cool program. Pretty biased though. I am pretty biased.
Yeah, so even if you're a school counselor, you might see Cameron in the schools, right?
That's true. I run into two of the school counselors quite a lot at Oxford High. They're begging for work. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to interns begging for work. But yeah, you'll probably see me in there if you're a school counseling student, most likely, especially if you're in Oxford.
Nice. Well, Cameron has always been one of my favorite students. Thank you so much for volunteering to co-teach with this. I'm really excited to work with him. He,
Same.
I taught group counseling, and that was, I think, the first time I had him in class. And he wrote the most amazing paper. And so I recruited him to present at MCA with me on that paper. And then through that, to kind of help get him funded to do all that kind of stuff, he joined Emerging Leaders and they just loved him and so he got involved with MCA through that and did his first presentation and He did great, for a master's student who had never done that before. So I think Cameron, I've always been a big fan of Cameron. And so he took some time off after his master's and got some experience and then came and worked for Cope as an employee. And now he's a doc student. So we're really, really fortunate to have him in this class with us. He's a great resource. So I really appreciate you being here, Cameron. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. And just to piggyback off that, I think I've talked to some people about this. Take your work and your master's degree seriously, because especially like, here in ethics, because I mean, ethics is like the Bible. But like, when you get in group, when you get in skills, like take the work seriously, because you never know what you can do with it after the master's program. Dr. Hodges is not under, she's not understating how important that group proposal was for me, because like it got me into MCA, and then it got me into emerging leaders, and then it got me into ACAC emerging leaders. Now I'm a doc student, and it all started with that group proposal. So, and even if you don't have aspirations of like doing a doc program or whatever, the stuff that you create or your assignments, you can use that in your professional practice as well. So, just try to get a twofer if you can.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. All
Thank you.
right. So let's jump in and talk about this course. The purpose of this course is to, and I'm just going to leave it like this in presenter mode. It's easier for me so I can see all if y'all have questions. But the purpose of this course is to examine ethical and legal standards in counseling. We're going to be looking at the American Counseling Association Code of Ethics primarily. That's what your licensure boards are going to kind of hold you to account for. And then, since we've got school counselors and mental health counselors, of course, we'll have the ASCA ethical codes and the OMCA ethical codes. So you always start with the ACA ethical codes, and then if you really need a little bit more detail, if you really need some more support with an ethical dilemma or an issue, then you can go to those respective codes in your profession. So ASCA or OMCA. So those are the three main ethical codes we're going to cover, and there are other codes of ethics. There's a code of ethics for group work. There's a code of ethics for family and couples work. There's, you know, and not every little niche has a code of ethics, but when it does, it's good because you can pull from that if you have some type of dilemma in that area. But these are the three codes we'll be looking at in this course. So your objectives, we're going to make sure you can demonstrate knowledge of ethics in various counseling settings and situations, analyze and apply ethical responsibilities of counselors, and then apply ethical decision-making models. And you got a big paper on applying an ethical decision-making model, so we'll talk about that. All right, so those are your course objectives. Here are the required materials. Of course, you've got your textbook right here, Issues in Ethics in the Helping Professions. This is a great textbook. I've never used it before, and the more I dig into it and build this course out, the more I really, really like this book. And Cameron, you probably had this book when you were a master's student. It's probably an earlier edition, but um, uh, yeah, this is what Dr. Conklin was using. This is what Dr. Montgomery's used in the past, and this is just a really great book. So I'm glad this is the one we went with. And then I put Cengage Mind Tap. So you were supposed to buy this book with the Mind Tap accessory, and that's available on the bookstore or through Cengage. So you got to have that. And at the end, I'll kind of click around in it and show you what to expect. And then, of course, you need that APA publication manual to write your paper that you're going to have. And then this is what the 2014 ACA Code of Ethics looks like. And you can get this on Google. You just Google it, it's free. And so are the additional codes of ethics. So this is what the OMCA Code of Ethics looks like when you Google it. It's free, and then the ASCA Code of Ethics as well. So you don't have to be a member of those organizations to have access to those ethical codes. All right. And class format is going to be hybrid, just same as intro. This is 3 credit hours, which normally takes 15 to 16 weeks, and we're squishing it down in 6 weeks. And so that's why it's going to feel like a heavy workload, because you're going to be doing your instruction time. A lot of it's going to be outside of class as well as in class, right? The weekly modules, so what you'll be doing outside of class are those weekly modules. You'll have a pre-recorded lecture from either myself or Cameron. And I've got two posted. Chapters 1 and 2 are posted right now. And then as soon as we hang up, I'm going to do chapter 3 and post that tonight too. So you'll have pre-recorded lecture, should be about 20 minutes. Then there's a voice note from Gerald Corey, and I've listened to a little bit of each one just to make sure it's worth listening to, but I haven't listened to it all the way through. They're usually about under 10 minutes, like 7 to 9 minutes. But I didn't want to listen to it too much because I didn't want to be repeating what he said on your lectures. I didn't want you to feel like, oh, why am I just listening to the same stuff over? So I didn't want that in my head. So I'm going to go back and listen so I can make sure I'm caught up with y'all. But you'll get to hear my perspective and you'll get to hear the author's, the main editor and author of the book, his perspective. And then mind tap for each chapter. So the mind tap activities, and again, I didn't want to leave the PowerPoint slide to go to Blackboard to show you in the middle of it to have to go back. I just thought it would take too much time. So we'll do it at the end. But for the mind tap, you have to do a chapter quiz, and it's going to be about 20 questions. A video quiz, so you just watch a video and answer some multiple choice questions about it. And it's usually like 5 questions. And then the Helper Studio case study. And I saw that some of y'all had already gotten in there and started looking around. And I was looking in there around there today some too. And I see that some of you've already got worked ahead. So I think that's great. If you have it, that's okay. But the Helper Studio, there's a portion of it, you watch a video and it's a case study, and then you answer some open-ended questions. And then another part, they want you to upload a video. And I've decided I'm not going to have you do that. I think that feature is for like Walden or Phoenix, University of Phoenix, those big online programs that have asynchronous instruction where the instructor and the student never meet. I think that's kind of what that's for because it just seems like overkill because we're going to have plenty of time to discuss in class. So that's why I'm not going to make y'all do the video portion of it. But I do want you to watch those video case studies and answer those open-ended questions. So we will look at that in more detail here in a second. So at a glance, what do you need to do for this class assignment wise? Of course, you're always going to have a syllabus quiz for me, and that's going to be 5%. That's going to be due the 21st, which I believe is next Tuesday. And then your mind tap assignments are due weekly. And so it's just the same as we did for intro. You'll do, you'll just do a little chunk of work before class, and that's to prepare you for the experiential class discussions that we will have. And we're going to primarily be looking at different case studies and working through those. And so I want you to have all that knowledge in your brain when you come to class. And so that's just what we discussed earlier with the chapter quizzes, the video quizzes, and that Helper Studio case study assignment. And that's worth 50% of your grade. And I left the points as they were in MindTap. The consultant I talked to said that was kind of, they auto generate that based on like national averages of how they do the scores. And so if it's good enough for them, good enough for me. They keep a running total in MindTap and it'll populate like as a total grade because your MindTap assignments is going to be 1 grade. So it's just sort of an average running total. And that running total is going to count for 50% of your grade. And then your ethics paper is going to be 25% of your paper. I've got a few slides that breaks that down. And so I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's due November 18th. That is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And so I'll probably spend some of my Thanksgiving break grading because that'll be the only time I have time to do it. So that kind of works out. So remember, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, it's due. And then you can get that grade back because we come back from Thanksgiving, we have a week, and then we're done. So you can get that grade back before, we can get your grades in on time, obviously. And then in-class participation, again, is 20%. It's a big chunk because it's important. And y'all have done an amazing job showing up to class and engaging with each other and with me and the other co-teachers. So keep that up. That is really important for your learning. All right, so let's talk about this paper. Ethical and legal standards application paper. It is a key performance indicator, so the benchmark is 80% for it. The purpose of this paper is to help you demonstrate your understanding of ethical standards and legal principles that guide professional counselors. So you'll apply ethical decision making and professional standards to a real world or hypothetical counseling scenario. And then this assignment helps bridge the theory and practice, emphasizing how ethical and legal considerations guide professional behavior across different settings. So that's the purpose of it, is to apply your knowledge in a nutshell. All right. So the length of it is the body of it of what you're actually writing is going to be 3 to 5 pages. Your title page doesn't count. Your reference pages don't count in that page count. So 3 to 5 pages, not too long, very doable. Um, you will use the 7th edition of APA, so that, Times New Roman font, 12-point font, double spaced, 1-inch margins, all that good stuff. And then how you cite things. You'll need to do it according to the APA style guide, and I can help you with that. Please feel free to make an appointment with me anytime between now and the time you turn your paper in, and I can give you some help on how to do that, if you feel stuck or anything like that. No abstract for student papers. I know some teachers might require that. When in the 7th edition, they kind of stratify the two, a student paper and a professional paper. If you're submitting a professional paper to be published, they're going to want an abstract. The student papers don't require it, so I don't require it. But just because I don't doesn't mean other professors might not in later semesters, right? So no abstract for me for this. And a minimum of 3 scholarly references, including at least the ACA Code of Ethics. Duh, that's what we're talking about. It's the whole thing, right? So at least you've got to cite the ACA Code of Ethics, 1 peer-reviewed article addressing ethics or legal issues in counseling, and then 1 additional, it could be just another peer-reviewed article, or it could be a legal resource like the state board website, or maybe you're citing a law or something like that. But it could just be another peer-reviewed article. Okay. And you'll be coming up with the ethical dilemma. So here's how it should look broken down. You'll have your introduction. You'll briefly introduce the importance of ethics and legal standards in professional counseling, so that we can know you can articulate that. And then you'll identify the codes that you'll be referencing for your particular dilemma. So the dilemma or the scenario, right? You'll present a hypothetical counseling situation or use a case example, but none of y'all have seen clients, but I know some of y'all have worked in the field a little bit in different capacities. So if you can think of a case, please fictionalize it. Don't use anybody's real names or anything like that. And then include the context, such as the setting, the client background, the presenting issue. Again, you're just making this up or fictionalizing something that you've heard about or know about. The scenario should involve an ethical or legal dilemma relevant to counseling. And we'll talk about a little bit more in class about what actually is a dilemma. It's usually just a conflict. Usually, ethics will conflict each other. And so that's oftentimes when you'll see an ethical dilemma. But it's just when you really just kind of don't know what to do and how to best serve the client. So you'll come up with that. Um, and then and kind of flesh it out a little bit. And then the scenario should involve, I've already said that. Okay, yeah, an ethical or legal dilemma relevant to counseling, like confidentiality, dual relationships, mandated reporting boundaries, multicultural considerations. Those are some kind of foundational examples of what that might look like. And that's so you come up with your scenario, then your ethical standards and legal considerations. You've got to identify the specific ethical standards by number and wording from professional counseling organizations like ACA, ASCA, AMCA, and NBCC has a code of ethics you could reference if you wanted to. And then discuss relevant laws and regulations. But bare minimum ACA's got to be referenced. Okay, bare minimum. And then you'll discuss relevant laws and regulations that apply to the situation, whether it be state or federal laws, and then explain how these standards interact and where they align and where they potentially conflict, right? And then the ethical decision making and application. So this is where you'll apply an ethical decision making model. There's several different ones. They're all pretty much the same. I talked about that in the chapter 1 lecture. But they have different tweaks, like if you're looking through a feminist lens or a transcultural lens or things like that. So this is just some citations of a couple of different ones, but they're in your book. We'll talk about them in class, and you'll just pick one to apply. And I'm going to bring, and I'll show you, I have a picture of it here, this little infographic. Hang on, bear with me, stay with me. I'm looking at it on my bulletin board, so I want to show you. There's an ACA ethical dilemma, ethical decision making model. And this is the one we'll probably go over in class. But if you have a chance, if you ever Google it and you want to find it, and this is what it looks like. It's just an infographic that helps you walk through it. So that might be helpful in your paper. But anyway, so you'll walk through each step of the model and show how you would resolve the dilemma, discuss the cultural, contextual, and professional considerations in your decision. And then conclusion, just summarize your final decision and rationale, and then reflect briefly on what you learned about ethical and legal practice through this exercise. So, it's a paper. It can, some people love to write and are great at writing, and some people really get intimidated by it. But I hope that these instructions kind of really lay it out clearly for you. And I know this is your first semester still, so um, I'm here to give you feedback to help you get better at it. And here is the grading rubric for ethics, for this ethics paper. So just kind of how I'll be grading it, and how much, how much it's weighted. So a well-developed scenario for the ethical dilemma is going to be 20 points. I won't read this to you, but here at the bottom, writing quality and APA formatting, it's 15 points. It is a good chunk, but don't let it paralyze you. Don't let that APA manual paralyze you. Just do the best you can. Go by that manual, and if you follow the kind of the guidelines in there, you should be fine. But yeah, so this is the rubric that I'll grade that paper on. And then, so before I move on, any questions about that paper?
I don't have any.
Okay. I'm not hearing anybody chime in, so
I was just gonna say the breakdown is very helpful.
okay, good. I'm glad that's helpful. All right, so looking at other policies, just the same as intro, attendance, since this is such a short class, we only get 6 sessions to meet. Somebody says use the right, oh yeah, Cameron's saying use the Graduate Writing Center. Yeah, that's great advice. They can help you with that paper. All right, so attendance, you can only miss one, and not the judge and jury on if it's excused or not. You don't have to fabricate COVID tests. I've had that done, so no thanks. Just don't miss more than one, or try not to. Of course, if I'm a reasonable person, if we need to talk about it, we can talk about it, right? But anyway, the attendance policy, and then AI. You can use AI. You just gotta be transparent and disclose how you used it. And then accommodations, if you need accommodations, you go through the student disability services, and they can do all that paperwork for you, and we can get you set up with that. So. All right, so let's talk about MindTap and take a look at that and how to access it. So I need to share this other screen. Let me get in there first. All right, do y'all see Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so let's look at courses, ethics. All right, so here you'll go to, all right, so you've got your syllabus quiz, your course syllabus overview, which is the PowerPoint I just went over with you. So you've got access to that. This course orientation just kind of looks at how to use the Helper Studio, but we're not going to be doing videos, but look at that if you want to. And then Corey's got a little voice memo, 3 minutes, you see, about the textbook. So feel free to listen to that. Then here's where your weekly modules are. We're still working on building out the other ones, but this is the week 1 module that'll be ready to go once we hang up, and I'm going to be recording chapter 3. But we look at chapter 1. This little sign right here is your MindTap logo. And then you've got Corey's audio, 9.5 minutes. And then you've got the slides right here. And then this is me with a voiceover on the slides. And I think this is maybe 20 minutes, 22 minutes, So you've got about 30 minutes of stuff to listen to outside. And then, of course, read your chapter. And then you go into Mind Tap. And you can also read your chapter through Mind Tap, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so it takes you to chapter 1. This is not your quiz. This is practice. So you can do that if you want to, don't if you don't. It's just a knowledge check. And then chapter 1 reading, that just takes you to the actual chapter of the book if you just are using the ebook. You have to click apply it to get to the actual assignments, and the ones with the little orange dots are the ones that count for the grade. And so your chapter 1 quiz looks like this, and you kind of have to click on each one to do it. So you see it's got the question there, but you can't just kind of scroll like you can on Blackboard. You have to click on 2, and then you have to click on 3 when you're ready for it. And it'll check off when you, over here next to each number, when you answer the questions, and then you submit assignment for grading, and it'll grade it in MindTap. All right, so that's a quiz. Let me go out of the way here. Then you got your video quiz, introduction to professional ethics. So you just watch this little video, and what is it? Four questions, and they offer them to you all at once and submit. You're done. And the video, I think this is probably, let's press play. Yeah, it's 5 minutes. It's not that long. So I don't want y'all to get overwhelmed, because the overwhelm will paralyze you. All right. And then chapter 1, Helper Studio. It's the same thing. It gives you a short video. So this one's even shorter, 2.5 minutes. And it's this lady role playing a client, and it gives you this, kind of the basics right here. And then she pretends to be the client. And then you just have to respond. It gives you open-ended. And then Cameron and I will go in and grade these responses manually. But what issues do they present with? How would you respond to Victoria, and why? And then, Victoria presents with several problems that place her in danger, and you just kind of have to process that and answer that. So just 3 questions. Then right here where it says add video, don't worry about that. We're not doing that because we're going to have our discussions in person. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's all you have to do on MindTap. And you do that for each chapter. And you have access to all the chapters just by clicking the link. But in each of the modules, it'll just take you directly. Like if we go to chapter 2 and click that, then it just opens up chapter 2. So it's just for your convenience, but these links take you direct. It's all the same thing. See, now it just opens chapter 2. And again, remember, you got to click apply it to get to where your actual graded assignments are. So that's MindTap. Do y'all have any questions about that?
No, it looks kind of fun.
Okay, good. Yeah, it is kind of fun. I was on there playing on it, and yeah, I think it's a good tool. All right, that is all I have for the syllabus overview. What questions do y'all have?
I have a question.
Yes, Irina, what's your question?
Oh my God, 1 second. I can buy the Mind Tab separate, right? If I want the hardcover book, because I looked online and I will only have access to the digital book for a shorter period of time, but I can buy separate Mind Time for a semester.
Yes,
Correct?
yes.
Okay, just figuring this out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I had to get the hard copy too. I like a hard copy book.
I like to sniff good books. They smell good.
And highlight them and make little notes, and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What else?
Do you have the ISBN for Cengage? Because I took a picture of it and I cut off part of it.
Oh yeah, I do. Actually, let me pull it up. Let me screen share again so you can just take a screenshot, because I have it on I have it on that PowerPoint. What week did I show y'all that? This last one?
Yeah, I think it was last week. And I guess I could have gone and looked at the PowerPoint.
That's okay. Yeah, here it is. Can you see it? It's not sharing it.
Yeah, I think it's frozen.
I think here it is. What about now?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, what else? Okay, going once, going twice. All right, I think that's it. I think we're done. I think we did it, guys. We did the syllabus for ethics. Yay.
I'm so glad this class is not on Zoom. Like, I'm so glad we're past 2020 because it is so different to be here versus in the classroom.
I know the energy is like I'm looking at a black screen. You know,
Right.
it's a lot different. I understand though. I get it. Everybody's like at home chilling, so
Yeah.
all right. Well, if there's no more questions, Jen, did you have a question?
No, I just didn't want you to keep looking at black
You wanted
screen.
to give me a little face. Thanks.
Just for a second.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Oh, hey. All right. Well, it's good to see y'all, hear y'all. Hope it was good to hear me. And I will see y'all in
Yeah.
person next week.
Okay, thank you.
See
You,
y'all
Dr.
later.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Leave meeting.
All right. I guess